YouTube, what it do? It's your boy, Mr. Stoic, and you know it. And we back at it again with another video. If you haven't did it already, man, hit the like and subscribe button to my channel where we always improving and getting better every day over here. You did what I'm saying, man? First and foremost, man, I'm going to continue to thank everybody for the support. I'm going to continue to thank the Most High for the support, man. I'm going to continue to thank all the people that's sharing this channel, man, and the growth, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to put my best foot forward. So we're going to keep dropping these videos. We're going to keep putting that work in, and we're going to keep improving every day. All right. So I want to get into the topic today, man. We ain't going to waste no time. The topic for today is dealing with childhood trauma. I know that's heavy, man. I know that's heavy. Dealing with childhood trauma, man. First of all, let me give you my perspective on what childhood trauma is. The way you grew up is going to dictate how you function and how you maneuver through society as an adult, because the way that you are programmed as a child is how you will conduct yourself as an adult. And this is something that's not talked about enough, because so many people have suppressed their childhood trauma that they think like, man, since I'm older, everything is fine. But let me tell you something. Those triggers will come up in different situations and different circumstances. Why? Because this is the foundation that was built into who you are. I know I just took off kind of fast, but man, I'm trying to get y'all this information. All right. The way you grew up as a child, if you grew up in a toxic environment, more than likely you will be a toxic adult. If you grew up in a stable environment, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be a stable adult. If you grew up around people that knew how to save money, then 9 times out of 10, you will know how to save money. And if you're not doing so, then guess what? You're just a one-off. But I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, most people are products of their environment. If you are finding yourself repeating the same cycles of poverty, the same cycles of being unproductive, the same cycles of dealing with substance abuse, becoming an alcoholic, and these are things that your family did, 9 times out of 10, this is what you was raised around. So the way you conduct yourself, you think is normal, but it's not. And the only way you're going to fix your childhood trauma is to go to the root of the problem. I'm going to give you an example. If you was bullied as a child, more than likely you will be hyper aggressive as an adult, because now you are old enough and you're big enough to speak up and protect yourself from people. Most people who were bullied as a child tend to be hyper aggressive as an adult. Have you ever met a cop that when you got pulled over, man, this guy was just doing the most, and he was, man, give me your license, and he was just overly aggressive? Yeah, man, chances are that dude got bullied in school. And now since he's a cop and he has the authority to impose his will on people, he's abusing his power. Or the guy that has trust issues in relationship, chances are he might have saw his mama be a promiscuous woman, or as a child, he's seen a bunch of promiscuous women. So when he gets older, he doesn't has as much trust in women as a guy that grew up seeing a 2-parent household and his parents was married for 40 years. Hope that I'm making sense here. I try to keep it simple. So what I'm trying to show you is your childhood trauma dictates how you perceive things and how you handle things. If you grew up seeing abuse, there's going to be anxiety. There's going to be different things that you are going to deal with as an adult that you have to go to the root of the problem and fix it. You can't kill a tree by cutting off a branch. You have to go to the root, to the trunk of the tree. If you're having issues as an adult, you got to go back to the basics. Go back to when this trigger happened, figure out what happened, and then you have to take on a new perspective about things. If your self-esteem is low, chances are somewhere along the lines, your self-esteem got pulled from you. Something was said, something was done that made your self-esteem go from here to here. And you have to go back to right here and forgive yourself or forgive whatever happened and then raise yourself back up with the new version of yourself. There are plenty of material and information that's out there. And what I'm going to do, man, if you check into my description, I'm going to put a couple of links that you guys can click on to be able to get this process started, man. All right. Because one thing about childhood trauma is if you don't address it now, that's why you see those 60, 70, 80-year-old people still stuck in their ways, because they never addressed the problem. They only threw more dirt on top of the problem. They only put a Band-Aid on top of the problem. They put some glue on it and tried to fix it when it was something that they were dealing with for their entire lives. And some people never reach their potential because of their childhood trauma. Some people stay stuck where they're stuck at because of their childhood trauma. Some people cannot be faithful in relationships because of their childhood trauma. Some people can't sustain long-term friendships because of their childhood trauma. Some people can't accomplish their goals and their dreams because of their childhood trauma. And what I'm telling you is, if you don't deal with it, watch this, it's going to deal with you. If you don't deal with your childhood trauma is going to deal with you. It's going to be like a snake that pops his head up at the worst times, and it's going to sabotage all the blessings that you have for you. It's going to ruin your friendships. It's going to ruin your bank account. It's going to ruin your relationships. It's going to ruin you being responsible. It's going to ruin you saving your money. It's going to basically snowball into your adulthood, that when you're 30, 40, 50 years old and wondering why you're not progressing, is because you never dealt with your childhood trauma. You never dealt with the very thorn that you walk around with every day, that you hide behind a smile with. If you still with me on this video to this point, I just want to speak to one person and tell you that it's okay that you're not okay. There is nothing wrong with going to seek therapy. There is nothing wrong with going to address things. There's nothing wrong with talking about how you feel. There's nothing wrong with talking about what happened to you as a child, because if it was sexual abuse, if it was anything that was traumatic to you, man, that shouldn't have happened to you as a child, and that's not okay. But what I need you to do is, let's address it, let's solve the problem, and let's get past it. And we can't keep reliving in what wasn't done and who wasn't there. We have to become new people, and we have to have a new mindset. We can't stay stuck at, well, man, you know what? My mama wasn't there for me, man. And my mama, so I'm just like this, man. No. That's when you was 12. You're 40 now. Well, man, you know what? My daddy wasn't there, man. My daddy, he ain't do nothing for me. Nope. Let's address it. Your dad wasn't there for you. Let's move on. Let's be better. Let's not make excuses for our behavior at 35 and 40 and 50 years old or 20 something years old. Let's figure out where your parents or somebody went wrong. Let's figure out a new set of behavior, because what you have to do is you have to say, okay, this is how I was raised, but this new behavior is how I'm going to succeed. And you have to practice the new behavior day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. Because I'm going to tell you something, it's easy to go back to what you know. It's easy to go back to what you know. If you have a temper, it's easy to get angry, man, on the job and cuss this person out. That's easy. But it's challenging to know that somebody is out of line, and you calm yourself down and articulate yourself that you will not be disrespected. It's easy to leave that relationship because you want control and you have trust issues, but it's very, very challenging to stay through that relationship and work through that relationship and stay committed to that relationship, even though you have your own insecurities and your own doubts. That's challenging. Where you're most uncomfortable is where you're going to grow the most. You will never grow being comfortable. You will never grow being comfortable. Your childhood trauma keeps you comfortable. If your childhood trauma caused you to be a shy person as an adult, you're still being shy, you're not getting uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable and speak to people. Get uncomfortable and tell some jokes. Get uncomfortable, go have you a drink and make some friends at the bar. Whatever you need to do that's uncomfortable. If your childhood, girls probably didn't like you when you was little. And you still believe that they don't like you now. Get uncomfortable and go talk to some women, man. If you're a lady watching this channel, maybe you wasn't the prettiest girl in school. Maybe you didn't have all the confidence to wear the things that you wanted to. Go to the gym, put the work in, and start wearing it now. Because it starts with you. As long as you sit in that comfort, you will never grow. As long as you sit in that comfort, you will stay the same. You will always be the same staying in your comfort zone. You have to get outside of your comfort zone to be able to grow, to be able to evolve, to be able to become the person that you need to be. And your childhood trauma will keep you stuck for a long time. Don't believe me? Go to any job and you will see some people that's old, man, still acting like they did when they was in high school. Still have the same high school mentality. Some of our peers now I watch on YouTube, man. Some of the people I went to school with, it's like they're still at the age that when we graduated. Still going out to the club, still seeking validation, still doing this on Instagram, man. At what point do you grow up? That's because they never wanted to let that child go. Because, yeah, man, I'm going to be honest with you in closing this video. Growth is not easy. I don't want to get on this channel and lie to you and tell you that it's going to be easy to change. It's not. It's actually going to be super, super hard to change. I got to be honest with you. It's going to be hard to change. It's going to be hard to do the right thing when you know doing the wrong thing is so easy. It's going to be hard to challenge your way of thinking when you've been thinking a certain way for so long. It's going to be hard to challenge and bring in new ideas when your old ideas have been programmed into you subconsciously and emotionally. If you had uncles to tell you day in and day out that women ain't this and women ain't that, and you've seen social media and you grew up and you've seen what the negative side is with women, then as a grown man, absolutely you're gonna have a whole negative thought when it comes to women. But you can change that. It's the same thing with watching up growing abuse, seeing somebody get abused. Man, you don't have to abuse no woman or nobody in your dynamic with anybody. You don't have to do that. That's something you watch growing up. That don't make it right. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you. This journey is a you journey. So in closing this video, know that your childhood trauma, the things that you went through, the things that you got to overcome, the challenges that you got to face, even the triumph that you're going to have in this life, it is all boils down to you. And all of the answers that you need are on the inside of you. I can't tell you what your boundaries are. I can't tell you what your triggers are. Only you and your body can tell you what triggers you and what makes you angry, what makes you upset. You got to understand that. All I can do is just try to guide you to it. You have to put the work in on you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming. We can give you a motivational message, but at the end of the day, when you hit end on this video, you got to live in your reality and know that, man, I got to put the work in. I got to deal with me. If you don't deal with you, you're never going to change. You're going to keep getting the same results. The same thing's going to keep playing out, and the same thing's going to keep happening, and you ain't going to have nobody to blame but you. Can't blame your daddy no more. You're 40 years old. Can't blame your mama no more. You're 40, 50 years old. You're 20 years old. Mama can't hold your hand no more. Daddy can't hold your hand no more. You can't, whatever you didn't have, that's on you. So I need you to deal with your trauma. Deal with those things that keep popping up into your life, that's sabotaging the blessings over your life. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to get off here. You have great things in store for you. Your blessing has always been waiting on you. Your blessing was already prepared for you. But are you ready to receive your blessing? That's why your blessing will forever be delayed. Because if you're not ready to receive your blessing, then it's always going to be delayed. You will never receive what you're supposed to in this lifetime until you get yourself ready. Everything that's for you is already out there for you. Don't worry about that. The house you want, the car you want, the relationship you want, everything that you want is out there for you, but it's on you to make yourself a person that can not only receive those type of blessings, but that can maintain them, not lose them. That you can sustain having that house because you're responsible enough. You can maintain having that car because you're responsible enough. You can maintain having a good relationship because you're emotionally mature enough to regulate your emotions, to sustain what God gave you. All right. So, man, if y'all like what y'all heard today, man, tune in next week. I got some more content, man. And I appreciate all the support. Keep staying tuned in. Keep putting God first, man. And keep doing what you're doing. All right.